First of all, a big thank you to Vadim for letting me use his recording. You can find his YouTube channel below. Today's short video is about a piano miniature from Jean Sibelius, Opus 76 No. 2, the famous encore Etude. Written around the time of the First World War, this piece is in stark contrast, say, to, for example, Debussy's Etudes or Schoenberg's piano work. Not revolutionary at all and still rooted in Romanticism, this work, however, has stood the test of time and is still performed regularly. Part of its success is attributed to its comprehensibility. Indeed, Sibelius shows us how elegance and beauty is achieved with so little material. I think these ideas resonate with a lot of people today. The aim of this video is to illustrate how I think Sibelius used simple ideas and turned them into this little masterwork. Before we delve into the analysis, I want to show this Brahms same opus number 76 No. 2. Quite a similar vibe, right? At least in the opening bars. Brahms' piece is far less conventional in terms of harmony and structure. I plan to do an analysis on this work as well. At first glance, the sheet music looks very basic and perhaps rather uninteresting. However, the magic is hidden beneath the surface. The first thing we notice is a bunch of 16th notes, very minimalistic, and they seem to go on forever. When we listen, the simple bouncy melody unfolds itself. Because some notes of the right hand are played in the alto register, they are less prominent than the soprano line. The melody line was hidden, as it were, in the concatenation of notes. I like to call this a latent melody, something you often see with Bach as well. The harmonic successions and phrasing is classically straightforward. Tonic to dominant in the first phrase. An exact repetition of this phrase is followed up by a second phrase in which the melodic idea from the first phrase continues and ends on a half cadence. Notice that the harmonic successions in the second phrase are faster. This part of the composition is then repeated, with exception of the half cadence that now ends on the tonic. Pay attention to this important eighth rest that breaks the slur of notes and let us take our breath. The same arpeggios and melodic ideas from phrase A and B are used again continuously, this time in a circle of fifth sequence with descending 7 chords: D, G, C, F, B, E, and A. We are still in the key of A minor. Sibelius already indicated the mezzo piano dynamic and quickly starts building towards the climax with another sequence of 7 chords. This time the sequence ascends instead, and the leaps are in fifths and thirds. Essentially, he moves from the subdominant to a climax on the dominant in bar 24. This time with a clear fortissimo. The first section of this composition is 36 bars long, and the climax here is on bar 24. So that makes 2/3. As you can see, it's all very basically structured and easy to understand, but it works just fine. Sibelius maintains the tension of this climax by elongating the dominant in a sort of pedal-like fashion. He bypasses the dominant a little bit with contours of an Italian augmented 6th chord. There are different harmonic analyses possible here, but the main takeaway is the suspense created towards the dominant. The D sharp is restored to D natural, and the climax ends on an E dominant followed by another breath. I would label this as the short codetta. The dynamic is back to piano, and the same 16 notes ideas are used again. Let's take a closer look at the structure of this phrase. Quasi-dominant to tonic, dominant to tonic, and then a second inversion cadential dominant chord. Conventionally, the A and the C should resolve to G sharp and B respectively. The A does, but Sibelius gives the B in the soprano and opts for a D in the accompaniment. This way, the chord has a 7th, which does resolve to C in the tonic on the last bar of the phrase. Notice this slightly different rhythm that breaks a little bit with the accompaniment from before. Sometimes these little details keep a composition alive, and always try to pay attention to these things in your own work. This phrase is then repeated, but Sibelius omits the cadential resolution and makes another harmonic and melodic progression to link back to the reprise. This descending line with its weak harmony does not have a clear cadence structure. As a consequence, the listener is not really aware that the first section is ending. We sort of slip into the reprise unknowingly. The reprise does not start with a tonic in root position, and instead Sibelius uses a first inversion of the A minor chord. Kind of cheeky to set us on the wrong track, but that is something what a composer can do. Seduction and confusion is part of the game. Again, these funny things can really help to give a composition that extra appeal. After this misleading transition, the first section is repeated exactly except for the Codetta, which now has a clear cadence with the second inversion cadential dominant chord. So, let us recapitulate the structure from top to bottom now. We have a binary form with two main sections. In the end, Sibelius presented us with a light, elegant and also quite a funny piece, at least in my opinion. There is this great momentum, and at some instances Sibelius deviates a little bit with little breaks, seldom a different accompaniment, and occasionally a less conventional harmonic sequence. It's like he's taunting the listener just a tiny bit. Well, I hope you liked it as well. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, you would help me out a lot. I decided that from now on, composing and teaching online will be my main job. It was a tough decision to make, but I'm really proud of it, and if you really feel like the channel is helping you a lot, please consider to take a look at my Patreon and other supportive platforms. Links are in the description as usual. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to comment or send me an email.